Welcome back to the channel. May have done a thing again. Guys, I have a problem. And the first step is admitting that. I have another large book outlet order to show you guys. Anyways, I'm excited to share it with you guys. You guys seem to like it. I asked you last month if you guys wanted to see more and you said yes. So I felt like it was my responsibility, right? To my viewers to show you more books. Plus I have some spots on my bookshelf available, so why not? Today we are going to be taking a look inside this unboxing. I have 3 big boxes again that I want to unbox for you guys, share with you guys what we got on Book Outlet, so let's get started. Hi, my name is Katie and welcome to Life in the Mundane. I am a second generation homeschool mom of 6 beautiful kiddos, and on this channel we talk all things resources. I love to share with you resources that are going to help you in your homeschooling and help encourage you in your biblical parenting and how you can utilize those to their fullest potential so that you can make the most of the little moment. I'm so glad that you guys are here and I'm excited to dive into these books. If you guys are not familiar with Book Outlet before, it is a discount book buying site. All the books are brand new. And if you kind of want to learn more about Book Outlet and how to kind of have the tricks and tips on how to get the most bang for your buck out of the Book Outlet site, I have made a video on 10 things you should know about Book Outlet that I'll drop up in the iCards and down in the description below. But you came here for the books, so let's show you the books. All right, we first have Paperboy. Paperboy is a book that I had not heard of before, but was really excited when I read the description. It sounds like it is about a boy who maybe has some speech delays or an impediment and can't talk very well. He takes over his friend's paper route for the month of July and is not too excited about interacting with a bunch of people. But through his experiences with different people, he grows and learns, and we get to see what happens along the way. I'm always on the lookout, guys, for books that have to do with characters who have some kind of special needs. We have a lot of special needs in our family, but also I just want my kids to be aware of different kinds of people and different situations so that they can be more empathetic and more loving and understanding. And so I'm excited to jump into this one. The next one, I hope I don't butcher the name of it, but Sadako? Pretty sure is how you say it. And the 1,000 Paper Cranes. This is a Sunlight read aloud, and while we don't do Sunlight, we love looking at the read aloud list and grabbing as many as they can because they always have solid read alouds. It says the star of her school running team, Tadako, is lively and athletic until the dizzy spells start. Then she must face the hardest race of her life, the race against time. Based on a true story of the 1,000 Paper Cranes, celebrates the courage that made one young woman a heroine in Japan. So this one just seemed like a really, really neat one, and so I can't wait to read it. This next one has been on my wish list for a very long time, and that is Thank You, Mr. Falker. I have not read this one yet, but I have heard that it is a fantastic book based around a teacher that is helping a child going through who's struggling with dyslexia. And if you guys know anything about our family, you know that we have several kids who struggle with dyslexia. And on every list that I could find when it came to books to read to your kids about dyslexia, this was like #1 on the list. A fairly beefy picture book as far as the amount of words on the page. So we'll probably do it as a read aloud, maybe either during the summer or at the very beginning of the school year, just to kind of get us started off and hopefully give some encouragement to some of my kids that struggle a little bit in school. I also decided to grab one of the Encyclopedia Brown books. I believe this was only like $1 or $2 in the box. It looks like it might be either a newer version or just a new cover, but I always loved Encyclopedia Brown stories, and my mom used to read them to us as homeschoolers over our lunch break, and we try to figure out the mystery for each one because each chapter is its own mystery. So whether this is a brand new version or whether it's just a new cover, I'm excited to go on these mysteries and journeys with my kids. Next up is some more Who Was books, because you guys know I love me some Who Was books. Here's my current collection, and I'm hoping to fill this out quite a bit after this order is complete. So we've got Who Was Alexander Hamilton, Who Was Booker T. Washington. I decided to get a fun one. I usually don't get ones that are not necessarily historically based, but Who Is Lego and kind of the history of Lego. My kids are obsessed, as I'm sure yours are too, so I thought that would be a fun one. And then Where Were the 7 Wonders of the Ancient World? This one is looking at all 7 wonders of the ancient world and giving a little bit of history on it. I've never tried one of these where it's covering multiple subjects in one, but it looked like a fun one to check out. And then finally for this box, I decided to get a book for me. You guys know I always get books for my kids, but I have been wanting to read this book. It's called Love-Centered Parenting by Payne. If you guys have not followed her, she has a big blog and great on Instagram and Facebook, moneysavingmom.com. You may recognize her from that. But she's actually a family friend of ours. And I was really excited. I've read all of her other books. And so I was excited to read this one that she has written now that her kids are teens. She's starting to share a lot of the things that she wished she would have known when her kids were younger. They've also been fostering and a lot of things like that. So I'm excited to read this book and see what she has to say. Guys, look what's in this next box. It's like they know me, right? It says to be continued. Thank you. Enjoy $5 off your next purchase. They knew there was going to be a next box. I just need to accept the fact there's going to be a next box. But now I get $5 off, so yay for that. Okay, so here is our next box. This one I'm really excited about. It's a picture book called The Boy Who Invented TV, and it's supposed to be the story of the television, but in picture book form. And I think that is going to be so fun. We love learning about different histories of inventions or of different people or places through picture books. I always tell my kids, you are never too old for picture books. There's plenty to be learned in them. So I guess we're gonna be learning more about the invention of the television. Speaking of historically based picture books, here we have, hi, I'm Norman. This is the story of Norman Rockwell, the famous painter. Again, we don't do a separate art study in our homeschool. It's just not my biggest passion, and it's hard for me to get to. Some of my kids have specific art curriculum that they do, but as a whole, I do love to get different books that give them some art history, and we'll read through these and get some from the library as well. The next one up was who were the American pioneers and other questions about westward expansion. So the cool thing about this book is that each page or each section has a question. So why did Native Americans and pioneers fight? And then it answers that question. So I love the fact that it's in question and answer format. So you could read through the book if you wanted to, or as your kids have questions, as you're studying different periods in history, you can also reference this to help you answer some of the questions. So like, what did the pioneers use to build their first home? This is so cool. They're talking about the history of sod houses. We actually have gone and looked at sod houses before. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but we actually have a second channel called Adventures of Life in the Mundane, where our family takes different trips around Kansas and the greater area, and we kind of explore just historical sites and fun things like that. I'll drop a link down below if you guys want to check it out. I feel like this book will be helpful in history, but also in our adventures as we travel through many of these areas and reference many of these different historical time periods. Next up, Book Outlet actually ended up having a backlog of old Usborne books. If you're familiar with Usborne books, we love them around our house. If you guys need a consultant, I don't sell them, but my friend Yasmin over from Mommy on the Move does. I'll drop a link down below where you can check out all the great books they have. But occasionally they rotate out books and they retire books. And when they do, a lot of times they sell some of their overstock to Book Outlet. And so here I got Wipe Clean Comprehension. So these are reading comprehension questions. So Wipe Clean books that are designed for older kids, and they will have to answer the different questions, but it's something that can be reused. We love these for car trips. And also an Usborne book, there's one on warships. These are fantastic. They've got great little tidbits about these different historical periods, depending on which one we're looking at, but these warship one will be a fun reference book. And then we got the Black Death Usborne book. And this is all about the gripping story of the Black Death and how this disease changed the world. I have one more Usborne book, and that is the 3-letter words to copy. These are just these are easy words, 3-letter words, CVC words that your beginning readers can learn. They can copy them and then they'll fill in the blanks and so on and so forth. Finally, in this box, we have got a series of the I Can Read books. We've got I Can Read about Harriet Tubman, Thomas Edison, Sojourner Truth, Lewis and Clark, and John F. Kennedy. These are really great if you guys want to see. I mean, they're different ones. I have level 2 and level 3 in here, but you can see they're simple, easy to read for the kids to read on their own. And as we go through history, I'll be assigning different ones of these for our kids to be reading on and maybe give an oral report or just a narration on. And apparently, I said last but not least, but apparently there was 2 books hiding in the bottom, and that's another Wipe Clean book that is a words about me. And so they've got like clothing items that they can read, and then they can trace things that are in your house, what I eat and drink, and so on and so forth. And then actually finally, see the box is empty here. Actually finally in this box is Blast Back, A Peek into the Past, World War II. I had never really heard of these books before, but they had several on Book Outlet and I thought it would be worth checking out. So it looks like they've got some fun facts about different people who worked in World War II, the world before World War II, and so on and so forth. Honestly, as I'm looking at this, it reminds me a lot of the Who Was books. So we will take a look at this, read it, and let you guys know which one we like better. That brings us to our last box, and this one is full, and I do mean full, of all of these Who Was books, okay? Because I told you I was gonna fill out the shelf by the end of this video. So we have What Was the San Francisco Earthquake? What Was the Underground Railroad? What Was the Holocaust? Who was George Washington? Who was Anne Frank? What was Pearl Harbor? Who were the Tuskegee Airmen? What is the Statue of Liberty? Who was Napoleon? We actually learned about Napoleon this past year in history, so we're going to do a quick read of this during our summer months as we wrap up last year's history, just kind of checking that out and getting a more comprehensive look into his life. What was Ellis Island? What was the Titanic? What were the Salem witch trials? And who was Theodore Roosevelt? These are all my Who Was books just from this book haul, and I can't wait to add them to my shelf. We've got a little more room. Maybe that means my next order will have a few more Who Was books. We love these, and if you guys want to see, again, those tips and tricks on how to use Book Outlet, you can check out the video here, or if you want to see how we organize our home library, you can check out that video here as well. And we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!